The world chews up good people and spits them out. You've felt it trying to be kind, honest, or fair, only to be outmaneuvered, betrayed, or ignored. The uncomfortable truth is that goodness, as you've been taught, is a liability in a world that rewards power over purity. Niccolò Machiavelli, the sharp-eyed Florentine who saw through the veneer of human nature, offers a way out. His philosophy isn't a warm hug. It's a cold blade, cutting through illusions to reveal what it takes to thrive. This journey through his lessons will transform you, not into a saint, but into someone who commands respect, navigates treachery, and survives the game of life. You'll learn to stop chasing the hollow ideal of being a good person and instead master the art of winning in a world that doesn't care about your intentions. Machiavelli's time was brutal. Renaissance Italy, a snake pit of warring city-states, double-crossing popes, and scheming nobles. He watched good men fall, not because they lacked virtue, but because they clung to it blindly. His masterpiece, The Prince, isn't a guide for angels. It's a manual for those willing to get their hands dirty to secure their place. You might flinch at his ideas, deception, ruthlessness, betrayal, but they're rooted in a truth you can't ignore. People are self-interested, and survival demands you play the game on their terms, not yours. Start with this. Being good often means being predictable. You hold the door open, metaphorically or literally, expecting others to do the same. But the world doesn't work that way. You've seen it in workplaces, relationships, even politics. Those who rise aren't always the kindest. They're the ones who understand leverage. Machiavelli doesn't ask you to abandon morals entirely, but to rethink them. Goodness, as society sells it, is a script written by those already in power to keep you docile. Break free, and you start seeing the chessboard. Consider a colleague who got the promotion you deserved. You played fair, worked hard, stayed humble. They networked, flattered the boss, maybe even took credit for your ideas. You called it unfair. Machiavelli would call it strategy. He'd say your mistake was assuming fairness wins. It doesn't. Power does. His first lesson is to stop expecting the world to reward your goodness. It's not evil to adapt. It's survival. You're not here to be a martyr. This isn't about becoming a villain. It's about waking up. You've been fed a lie that being good guarantees success, but the evidence is all around you. Nice guys finish last. Machiavelli's truth stings because it forces you to face your naivety. You've lost opportunities, not because you weren't capable, but because you played by rules that others ignored. His philosophy demands you shed that skin. You'll need to learn a new word, virtue. It's not virtue as you know it, kindness, charity, or humility. Virtue is strength, cunning, and adaptability. It's the ability to bend the world to your will, not the other way around. Picture yourself in a negotiation. You're honest, straightforward, laying all your cards on the table. The other side smiles, nods, and walks away with everything. Machiavelli would shake his head. You didn't negotiate, you surrendered. Virtue means knowing when to reveal, when to conceal, and when to strike. It's not about being bad, but about being effective. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to win. The path ahead is uncomfortable but necessary. You'll confront the myths of morality, learn to wield power without apology, and discover how to thrive among wolves. Machiavelli's lessons aren't for the faint-hearted, but they're for you if you're tired of losing. The world won't change to suit your ideals, so you must change to master it. Stop trying to be good. Start trying to be unstoppable. The game of life isn't one with a saint's halo. It's one with virtue, Machiavelli's razor-sharp answer to a world that devours the naive. You've been taught that virtue means kindness, honesty, or turning the other cheek, but those ideals crumble when you're surrounded by players who don't play fair. Virtue is different. It's the grit to outmaneuver, the cunning to anticipate, and the strength to act without hesitation. Picture yourself in a high-stakes moment, a deal, a rivalry, a betrayal. The old you would cling to being good, hoping fairness prevails. The new you, guided by Machiavelli's wisdom, knows better. You adapt, you strategize, you win. Imagine a chessboard. You're not a pawn, but you've been playing like one, moving one square at a time, hoping your opponent respects the rules. Machiavelli hands you the queen, versatile, powerful, unpredictable. Virtue is that queen. It's not about brute force, but about seeing 3 moves ahead. In Renaissance Italy, he saw rulers rise and fall, not because of their morals, but because of their ability to bend circumstances to their will. Take Cesare Borgia, a man Machiavelli admired. Borgia wasn't good by any preacher's standard. He deceived, manipulated, even murdered, but he carved out a kingdom in a world of vipers. His virtue was his armor. Now bring this to your world. You're in a meeting, pitching an idea. You've poured your heart into it, but a colleague cuts you off, reframes your work as their own, and gets the applause. The old you fumes silently, cursing their dishonesty. But virtue demands more. You study the room, note who holds sway, and later, in private, you plant seeds, subtle compliments to the boss, a casual mention of your original contribution. You don't scream thief, you outplay. This isn't petty, it's power. Machiavelli knew that those who wait for justice often wait forever. Virtue also means flexibility. You can't be rigid, clinging to one way of being. Sometimes you're the lion, bold and direct. Other times the fox, sly and elusive. A friend asks for a favor, but you sense they're using you. The good, you says yes, hoping they'll reciprocate. The virtue-driven you weighs the cost, says no with charm, and keeps the upper hand. It's not cold, it's clear-eyed. People respect those who respect themselves. This shift stings because it forces you to question your identity. You've tied your worth to being the good guy, the one who does the right thing. But how many times has that left you burned? The coworker who borrowed your notes and got the promotion. The partner who leaned on your loyalty while giving little back. Machiavelli's lesson isn't to become heartless, but to stop being a doormat. Virtue is self-preservation with style. Think of a time you lost because you played too nice. Maybe you didn't push back when a client lowballed you, thinking your work would speak for itself. It didn't. Virtue would have had you negotiate harder, maybe walk away to show strength. Machiavelli's world was cutthroat, but yours isn't so different. Office politics, social climbers, hidden agendas. You don't need to stab backs, but you do need to stop offering yours. The beauty of virtue is its realism. It doesn't pretend people are angels. It assumes they're flawed, driven by fear, greed, or ambition, just like you. So you learn their moves. You watch body language in a tense conversation. You notice who talks to whom after a meeting. You don't trust promises, you trust actions. This isn't paranoia, it's clarity. You're not playing to be liked, you're playing to be respected. By embracing virtue, you shed the weight of others' expectations. You stop apologizing for wanting what's yours. The world doesn't owe you fairness, but it will yield to those who command it. Machiavelli's gift is this. Stop chasing approval, start chasing results. You're not here to be good. You're here to be formidable. You're walking through a forest of wolves, each one circling, waiting for a misstep. This is the world Machiavelli saw, a place where trust is a luxury and survival demands you become a predator yourself. You've tried being the sheep, bleating about fairness, hoping the pack plays nice. They don't. The prince, Machiavelli's unflinching guide, isn't about ruling kingdoms. It's about ruling your life. You're not here to be devoured. You're here to outsmart the beasts. Picture a high-stakes moment. a negotiation, a rivalry, or a betrayal. The old you would appeal to reason, expecting others to honor some unspoken code. But wolves don't read rulebooks. They sense weakness and pounce. Machiavelli's lesson is to meet them on their terms. You don't need to growl louder. You need to move smarter. Take his admiration for Cesare Borgia, who played the game with brutal precision. Borgia didn't wait for loyalty. He created it through fear, charm, and calculated generosity. You can do the same, not with daggers, but with strategy. Consider your own battles. Maybe it's a workplace where alliances shift like sand. You share an idea in good faith, only to see it stolen by a colleague who smiled to your face. The good, you would stew, hoping karma intervenes. Machiavelli would roll his eyes. Instead, you learn the pack's dynamics. Who holds real power? Who's whispering in whose ear? Next time, you share selectively. Maybe plant a half idea to test loyalty. You don't confront the thief. You outmaneuver them, presenting a better version of the idea when it counts, with the right audience watching. This is the prince's game. Anticipate, manipulate, control. It's not about being cruel, but about being awake. You've seen how people operate. Promises broken, favors forgotten. Machiavelli doesn't ask you to trust less. He asks you to see more. Every interaction is a move on the board. A friend asks for help, but their tone feels off, like they're tallying your debt. The old you says yes to keep the peace. The new you pauses, probes their motives, and decides based on leverage, not guilt. You're not a villain, you're a player. Wolves respect strength, not sentiment. Think of a time you gave too much time, money, trust, expecting it to come back. It didn't. Machiavelli's world, like yours, runs on reciprocity, not charity. You learn to give strategically, ensuring it buys influence or loyalty. A coworker needs a favor. Help, but subtly tie it to a future ask. A client pushes for a discount. Offer it, but secure a longer contract. This isn't manipulation, it's math. The game also demands you read the terrain. Machiavelli knew no ruler survives without understanding their enemies. In your life, enemies aren't always obvious. They're the charming rival, the passive-aggressive boss, the friend who competes in shadows. You study them. Notice how they talk, what they value, where they're weak. A colleague brags about their network. Flatter their ego while quietly building your own. A competitor undercuts you? Don't whine. Find their blind spot and exploit it. You're not breaking rules. You're playing the game others already play. This shift feels uncomfortable because it strips away your illusions. You want to believe people are inherently good, that effort equals reward. But you've seen the evidence. Those who rise aren't always the most talented. They're the most tactical. Machiavelli's prince thrives by embracing reality, not resenting it. You don't need to love the game, but you must play it. Every day, you're in the forest, surrounded by wolves. You can't wish them away, but you can learn their moves. By mastering the prince's game, you stop being prey. You become the one others watch, wary of your next step. You're not here to be eaten. You're here to lead the pack. The mask of goodness slips, and you see the world for what it is, a stage where everyone plays a part, and not all are heroes. You've worn that mask, believing it shields you, that being good earns you a halo others will honor. But deep down, you know it's a lie. The colleague who praised your work then took credit, the friend who leaned on your loyalty but vanished when you needed them. These aren't accidents. They're the rules of the game exposed. Machiavelli's genius is in tearing off that mask, showing you that survival demands you ditch the illusions of morality and face the raw truth. People act for themselves, and you must too. Imagine standing in a crowded room, everyone smiling, shaking hands, making promises. You used to take it at face value, trusting the warmth, expecting reciprocity. But now, With Machiavelli's lens, you see the undercurrents, glances exchanged, words chosen with care, alliances forming in silence. You've been burned by this before, haven't you? You stayed late to help a teammate, only to watch them climb past you. You kept the confidence, only to hear it whispered elsewhere. The sting isn't just betrayal. It's the realization that your goodness was a weakness others exploited. Machiavelli doesn't preach evil. He preaches clarity. In his world, rulers who clung to moral ideals lost their thrones. The same applies to you. Morality, as you've been sold, is a trap, a set of rules designed to keep you predictable while others maneuver. Think of a time you held back, afraid to seem selfish. Maybe you didn't push for a raise, thinking your hard work would be noticed. It wasn't. Or you avoided conflict, hoping to keep the peace, only to lose ground. These aren't failures of character. They're failures of strategy. Now, picture a different approach. You're in a negotiation, and instead of laying all your cards on the table, you hold back, gauge the other side's desperation, and let them reveal their hand first. You're not lying, you're playing. Or a friend asks for a favor, but you sense they're keeping score. Instead of jumping to help, you smile, ask a question, and shift the dynamic. This isn't cruelty, it's survival. Machiavelli's world, like yours, rewards those who see through the performance of virtue. Abandoning moral illusions doesn't mean abandoning all principles. It means redefining them on your terms. You stop seeing good as pleasing others and start seeing it as securing your place. A historical echo, Machiavelli admired leaders like Ferdinand of Aragon, who preached piety but waged war with ruthless precision. He wasn't a monster. He was effective. You can be too. When a coworker tries to undermine you, don't stew in silence. Counter with charm, redirect attention to your strengths, or quietly expose their flaws. You're not stooping to their level. You're winning on yours. The shift feels like shedding skin. You've tied your identity to being the one who does the right thing. But how often has that left you empty-handed? The world doesn't reward martyrs. It rewards players. You've seen it in every sphere, politics, business, even friendships. Those who thrive aren't always the purest. They're the ones who understand the stage and play their role without apology. Machiavelli's lesson is liberation. Stop performing for an audience that doesn't care. The truth is, you're already halfway there. You've felt the frustration of playing by rules others ignore. You've sensed the gap between what people say and what they do. Now you act on it. You watch, you listen, you move with purpose. The mask is off, and the stage is yours. You're not here to be good. You're here to be real. The world runs on a cold, unyielding calculus. Results outweigh intentions, and power trumps promises. You felt this truth in the sting of being overlooked, outplayed, or outmaneuvered despite your best efforts. Machiavelli's lens sharpens your vision. Stop measuring your worth by how good you are and start measuring it by what you achieve. His philosophy isn't a call to abandon all decency, but to embrace a ruthless math where outcomes are the only currency that matters. You're not here to be admired for your heart. You're here to shape the world to your will. Picture a moment when you poured everything into something, work, a relationship, a dream, only to see it slip away. Maybe you crafted a flawless proposal, but a rival's flashier pitch won the client. Or you stayed loyal to a friend, only to watch them drift toward someone with more to offer. You told yourself it wasn't fair, that your intentions should have counted. Machiavelli would shake his head. Intentions are invisible. Results are undeniable. His rulers, like Cesare Borgia, didn't win by being noble. They won by making hard choices others shied away from. This calculus demands you rethink your moves. You're in a job interview, In the old, you would list your skills, hoping honesty shines. The new you studies the interviewer's priorities, tailors your story, and subtly mirrors their energy. You're not faking it, you're calculating. Or imagine a family dispute where you've always played peacemaker, swallowing your needs to keep harmony. Now, you state your position clearly, even if it ruffles feathers, because harmony at your expense isn't harmony, it's surrender. This isn't selfishness, it's strategy. Machiavelli's math also means cutting losses. You've clung to projects, people, or ideals that no longer serve you. Thinking persistence is noble. But how often has that drained your energy while others moved ahead? A historical nod. When Borgia saw an ally faltering, he didn't hesitate to replace them. You can do the same, not with cruelty, but with clarity. A business partner drags their feet, you find a new one. A goal stalls despite your effort, you pivot. You don't waste time on what doesn't work. This approach feels stark because it strips away the comfort of excuses. You can't hide behind "I tried" or "I meant well." But it's also freeing. You stop chasing approval and start chasing impact. Think of a time you lost because you played too soft. Maybe you didn't call out a colleague's mistake, hoping they'd self-correct. They didn't, and you pay the price. Now, you address it directly, not to shame, but to protect your interests. The world respects those who act, not those who wish. Power's calculus also means knowing when to bend. You don't always need to fight head-on. Sometimes, you yield strategically to gain later. A boss shuts down your idea. You nod, regroup, and pitch it differently when the timing's right. Machiavelli knew that power isn't just force. It's timing, leverage, and restraint. You're not a bulldozer. You're a chess player, always 3 moves ahead. The hardest part is accepting that others play this game too. You've been hurt by people who prioritized results over you, colleagues who took credit, friends who ghosted when you weren't useful. It's not personal, it's the calculus. Instead of resenting it, use it. Watch their moves, learn their weaknesses, and position yourself to come out on top. You're not betraying your values. You're redefining them to include your own survival. By embracing this mindset, you shed the weight of should. You stop shouldering the world's fairness and start shaping your own path. The equation is simple. What gets you results? Every choice, every word, every alliance is a variable. You're not here to be good. You're here to be effective. You're not a lamb anymore. You're a fox, sleek and cunning, slipping through the world's traps with eyes wide open. Machiavelli's final lesson is to embrace this inner fox, to weave deception and strategy into your very being. Not the crude lies of a con artist, but the artful dance of someone who knows the world's true nature and refuses to be its prey. You've seen how goodness can shackle you, how intentions fade against results. Now, you learn to thrive by bending the rules others blindly follow, securing your place in a game that never stops. Imagine a moment where trust cost you. You shared a plan, a secret, or a vulnerability, expecting it to bind you closer to someone. Instead, they used it, leaving you exposed. The old you would mourn the betrayal, vowing to be more careful, but still hoping for a world where honesty wins. Machiavelli's fox laughs at that hope. People are driven by self-interest, he'd say, and your job is to anticipate their moves, not wish them away. You become the fox by mastering the art of selective truth, revealing just enough to keep others close, concealing what gives you the edge. Picture a workplace rivalry. A colleague fishes for details on your next project, their smile too eager. The good you might share, thinking collaboration builds trust. The fox pauses, offers a vague outline, and redirects the conversation to their plans, probing for weaknesses. You're not betraying them. You're protecting yourself. Or consider a negotiation. You've been taught to be upfront, but the fox knows better. You hint at other offers, real or not, to shift the balance. This isn't dishonesty, it's leverage. Machiavelli's world rewarded those who controlled the narrative, and yours does too. The fox also knows when to charm. You've met people who win allies effortlessly, not because they're better, but because they know what others crave: flattery, security, a sense of importance. You can do this too. A boss hesitates on your proposal. You frame it as their victory, not yours. A friend pulls away. You offer a small, calculated gesture to reel them back. This isn't manipulation, it's understanding human nature. Machiavelli saw rulers like Ferdinand of Aragon, who cloaked ambition in piety, winning loyalty through perception, not truth. You don't need a crown to play that game. Embracing the fox means shedding guilt. You've hesitated to act this way, fearing it makes you bad. But how many times has playing nice left you empty-handed? The promotion you deserved went to the schmoozer. The deal you nurtured was snatched by a sharper player. The fox doesn't resent the game, it thrives in it. You learn to read rooms, spot agendas, and move with purpose. A colleague's careless comment reveals their insecurity. Tuck it away for later. A client's hesitation signals doubt. Address it before they do. You're not scheming, you're surviving. This transformation isn't about becoming someone else. It's about unleashing what's already there. You've always had the instincts. Society just taught you to suppress them. The fox is your freedom, letting you navigate a world of wolves without baring your throat. You don't need to love deception, but you must master it. Every interaction is a chance to practice. Choose your words, hide your claws, and strike when the moment's right. As you step into this role, you'll feel the shift. People respond differently. They sense your confidence, your edge. You're no longer the one who waits for fairness. You create your own. Machiavelli's fox doesn't just survive. It thrives, turning the world's chaos into opportunity. You're not here to be good. You're here to be untouchable. Machiavelli's philosophy cuts like a blade, stripping away the comforting lies of goodness to reveal a world ruled by power, strategy, and survival. You've learned to trade virtue for virtue, to navigate the forest of wolves as a fox, cunning and unapologetic. His lessons aren't warm, but they're true. Chasing approval leaves you vulnerable. Mastering the game makes you formidable. Stop pretending the world rewards your heart. It rewards your results. Look inward. Face the part of you that's been waiting to act, to outsmart, to win. Stop lying to yourself about what it takes to thrive. The path isn't pretty, but it's yours. Embrace the fox, shed the guilt, and shape your destiny. Power isn't given, it's taken. What will you do with yours?